All right, so today we're going to be watching the PS5 Pro technical presentation. There was a lot of heavy rumors about a PS5 Pro. I've been hearing it for at least the last couple, right? People have talked about there's like some leakers that were talking about this console, but I mean, not to like credit them, but let's be honest. In the day and age that we live in, are you surprised that 5 Pro? You know what I mean? The answer to me is no. They did it for the PS4. PS3 didn't have a Pro, but they did have other. They had slims. They had reiterations. But with the way that PS4 is going, handheld PC, Nintendo Switch, that one's a weird one. But Xbox, they're gonna make. I'll know it. It's just when, you know. But it makes we'll see. We'll see how it looks. We'll see
Hi,
how it
I'm
is.
Mark Cerny. I'm
And
excited to be here
Mark
to talk about the
Cerny,
newest addition to our console
for
lineup,
those that
the
don't know, Mark
PlayStation
Cerny,
5 Pro.
if I
It
remember
advances
correctly, was
gaming technology.
director
But
of
first, I
Knack
want to take
1
just a
and
minute
2,
to look at what we put on
made
the original PlayStation 5
the
and how it
PS4
delivers an
when
exceptional
they
gaming
first introduced
experience.
that console. It was Knack, but he is
When the
also the guy in
PS5
charge
debuted in
of
2020,
doing
it brought a
consoles
lot to the table.
for PlayStation.
8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of
He's a
PlayStation 5,
he's a tech
and
guy.
enable high-speed complex gameplay. With character counts reaching into the hundreds
I don't know what game that
and
is.
frame rates that can be as
Borderlands
high as 120
4?
frames a second.
Oh, 3? The
The
heck?
PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to
Yeah, Ghost of
achieve.
Tsushima is a great game.
Ray tracing allows
When are
for
we getting that
dramatic
second
visual
one?
improvements,
Hmm?
including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination.
This is Avatar.
A custom SSD can
Oh,
load
Ratchet
data
and Clank. I
at
tell you,
lightning
one
speed,
of the most,
resulting in ultra-fast
in
transitions
air
between
quotes,
game
next
modes.
gen game ever. Like you rarely ever.
Data
I
streaming
mean, so
rates so
far,
high that traversal
don't get me
speeds are
wrong.
essential.
Most PS5 games, like graphically, of course, they look great, right? Because
Tempest
for
Studio
obvious
Audio
reasons.
Tech brings
But
an
Ratchet
unparalleled
and
sense of immersion
only
to the
game that
soundtrack
I've
of games.
played on my PS5 where I truly
They
felt
are
that
so real you may not
next
even need to
gen,
see the animation
or
to
like
know
well,
exactly what
technically
they
current
are.
gen, but it's the only one that felt next
Normally,
level.
the DualSense controller
Um,
has haptics
Games like
that let you feel the
Astrobot,
game
like
in your
it
hand, which
demonstrates the controller
characterizes
and
the
stuff very
feeling inside
well.
of the game.
But Ratchet and Clank was an
It's
overall
wonderful to see
package.
such
Like, don't get
variety
me
and
wrong, I love
richness in
games like
game
Spider-Man,
experiences.
right? But like
Creators have made
Spider-Man 2
amazing use of the
just looks
hardware,
like a better
and I tell you,
Spider-Man 1.
I do hear about their
If you're
desire to
someone who
improve
like
the
really
graphics
cares about like that ray
capabilities.
tracing and all that stuff,
Dreams of
then
developers
sure,
are bigger than
I
computer
get it,
memory
but
at 60 frames per second, and that
I
leads
don't
to an
know.
aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be
Yeah,
a
I'm a
difficult choice for players.
with performance. I'd rather my
Fidelity
game run
modes
smooth than
emphasize the
for the game to
visuals,
look good
typically through
because
higher
graphically,
resolution rendering.
I'm,
These
sure,
modes might also have
better,
enhanced detail
but
or use more
the way
ray
that I
tracing.
sit, the distance
But the games
from where
only
I
run at
sit,
30 frames per second. The
I can't
visuals
even
can
see
be
things
choppy,
like the
and
background
the
anyway.
controls less
And
responsive.
then if I was to look
Performance
at
modes
like an
emphasize
OBS or
frame rate
something,
and
it's kind of
interactivity,
small, so
typically
doesn't
choosing to run 60 frames per
it
second,
doesn't super matter.
mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved.
Yeah.
When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Yeah, we would much
Removing
rather
that
play the
decision,
game
or at least
smoothly than
narrowing
to
that
for
divide,
the game
is
to
one
look.
of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big Three.
The big three.
First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is
Okay.
rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second,
Okay.
we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short.
All right. PSSR.
PSSR
of course.
analyzes the game
Sure.
images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game
AI
creators are
driven.
adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles.
I hope that
With the
doesn't
big
mean
three involved,
we're gonna
the
like
results
lose
can be pretty
jobs
amazing.
because
With
of
graphics
AI.
showing something like
That would
fidelity
suck.
levels of detail, but it
But, like at the same time, if
Here's the
I'm out
last
faster, then people would be more okay with it. Just
It has
because,
huge
you
amounts of
know,
detail and
people
targets a
are
super
gonna want
smooth
their games
60 frames per
quicker than
second.
having people work on it.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames
Oh
per
yeah,
second.
you can kind
and
of
is
see it.
therefore much
The
choppier.
left one looks very choppy.
This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like
I,
graphics at performance
that's
frame rates
so
has
hard
been
to
achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2
Marvel Spider-Man. It's harder to see
and Ratchet and Clank
the
Rift Apart. We can see
low
that
frames,
PS5
but
Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation
yeah, you can
5.
tell the PS5 Pro looks way more smoother though.
Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus performance mode on
I still don't
PS5,
think the
both
PS5
of
has
which
been
target 60
to its
frames per
limits yet.
second.
We haven't heard a lot
What
of
we see
people
here
complain
is a
about the
difference
game
in
like
detail.
not being able to
PS5
run.
Pro is much sharper
But
and
to be fair,
crisper
that's
than
because
PS5.
most people play on performance
For
mode.
this, my
So they
favorite is
usually
the
always
parade
play
scene
60.
from Ratchet and Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
I mean, it looks fine.
So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value.
The big three.
As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for
One thing I've
improvements to
noticed,
lighting and visual effects.
they're really showcasing their first-party studios, which, like, yes, of
as well
course,
as to the hair and the
you know,
skin
first-party
in
studios have to look good.
Open up, guys.
Because this is their home, but at the same time, like, gotta show some
Ray
third-party
tracing is
stuff,
finding
you know?
broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big
Yeah, I
wins
mean,
for
4K
Hogwarts
60 is
Legacy,
pretty nice.
allowing
but-
not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the
But,
casting
I
of
don't know.
shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy
Yeah,
addition
of
to
course.
the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Let's take a look. Oh boy, turn off the music. I don't want to get DMs. Oh. Yeah, basically it just looks like a slim version of mine. With my normal life, you know? But it looks like a slim but with a bigger R thing.
It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Souls, or is that guy from Bloodborne? I would say Demon Souls, right? Because Demon Souls is a PS5 game. Bloodborne is not. And I believe that's Assassin's Creed. And that's Toyota. Ninja. Hogwarts Legacy. I've not played it. I was about to say Forza, but no, it's not. It's Gran Turismo. So now there's going to be a bunch of games with like, oh, patches by Pro. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so $700. insane to me. November 7th is a lot closer than I thought. Now is September 10th. So it's about 2. I am not going to this, especially if this is the same white distance controller that comes with like the stock PS5. Their battery life is cash. If you buy a newer PS5 controller, like the blue, the red, like the dark blue, not like the dark blue one, those ones have significantly way better battery life. Like I think if for example I stream, I think the white controller lasts me about 1, maybe like 2 streams if I'm lucky. Or like not even maybe just 1, I think. The batteries are gonna be complaining about needing to charge. I have a black controller I bought that someone got for me way later, and it lasts about 2, maybe 3 streams, about like 2-hour streams. The blue one can last me a plus like a long Friday, so the blue one lasts longer. But I don't know if the new controllers have like better battery life or whatever. But anyway, not your controller here to talk about the new Pro console. I can't picture myself getting this. Number one, it's $700. Number two, it doesn't have any features that have sold me on why I need. Now, I don't think that this is for the people who already have PS5s, because I feel like for them and myself, this is just like me speaking it generally. I don't think that the PS5 has been pushed to its limits yet. We haven't seen a lot of games come out, and the games have been struggling. You know, like for example, recently I was playing Marvel Midnight Suns. Yes, there were frame drops, but like it that game's a turn-based game, so like it usually went on when it was like the opponent's turn. So like it didn't make that much of a difference. But in terms of most of the action games that I've played, I haven't really encountered anything that my PS5 couldn't handle. So for me, it just seems kind of weird that they are announcing a PS5 Pro. I know it's been 4 years, and I think PS4 it took them about 4, because their life cycle is about 7 years. So I believe it took them about 4 years to also do it. But here's the thing, right? Number one, we don't know if Xbox is gonna. I mean, they might be, and if they are, we just don't know when it's coming. It's November 7th, so their PS5 is already like ahead of the curve on this one. We don't know if Xbox is gonna be doing the same. If they are, when is it coming? I don't know. Nintendo Switch, we don't know when the successor is coming. It is also heavily rumored for next year. So there's that. But that one is more, it's like the PS6, the PS5. Like that one is whatever the next Nintendo console is going to be the successor uh to the Switch, because the Switch. And the funny thing was, PlayStation's released 2 consoles for the Switch's next one, because the Switch had the regular, it had the battery upgrade, it had the Nintendo Switch Lite, and there's the OLED, but not like an actual upgrade. But also, like this one, it's $700, right? I'm pretty sure you could buy a piece $700 and get about the same thing, depending on the games you play. But what this console feels like to me is it just feels like a graphics card up. Since they're talking about graphics, this graphics that, they didn't mention that they changed the CPU. They did tell us what was in it. It didn't sound like they mentioned CPU change, RAM change, or anything like that. It just sounds like rating from like, if we're talking graphics cards, from like the 3070 to like the 4070. That's all it really is doing. So just like a graphics card up. Honestly, also, other thing, sorry, it's a little long, but other thing also. One of the biggest why I would not pay or buy this is because if this is supposed to be the midlife upgrade, right? Where it's just better graphics, basically, LDR. That means that the time that comes out for the next console is going to be either halfway, so we're 4 years in now, might be another 3 years till the next console. The next console is gonna have this better anyway, and it can play exclusive games. But if just like this console generation, there were games that came with this and PS4, and that lasted like a really long time. And technically, those games you were also able to play it on the base PS4. So once the PS6 comes out, you're also going to be able to play it on your PS5. Sure, it might not run as good, it might not look as good, but I think it's going to be optimized enough that you'll be able to do it anyway. And then, like, yeah, it's just like I guess because of, if I had to buy a PS, then I buy the Pro. PS5 was already 500. This one's 700. You're saying that I spent 1,200 to buy in this life cycle. I spent 1,200, and then the next gen, whatever price it's gonna. I don't think the next one's $700. I think they're gonna try to hit 5 to at max 600. I actually honestly thought this was 600, but I'm surprised that that just blows my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the lifetime from this to the next console is already too short. So by the time that PS6 comes out, it's like $700 for kind of 4 years. I guess that's how you can kind of justify it. But yeah, I really can't see myself. I can't really of getting this. But the people who I think this is for, which is people who didn't buy PS5s beforehand, and remember also when this thing first came out, it was hard to get. It was not a console to get anyway. Like they were sold out. So like for me, like things started ramping up again like 22, I think. Really, people only had this console for like 2 years, and like they haven't enough games for me to justify buying this. Unless there's like a state of play coming up that's gonna be like, yo, got the new Uncharted or Naughty Dog game. We got a new whatever's Santa Monica, which a little too early for them to be revealing anything. But Wolverine, right? And we all know, or not we all, but I assume people, when they see this, it's supposed to be P6, right? Because P6 is gonna look good, but we'll see how that game runs. We have no idea yet. We just have to wait and see. But yeah, this is a big one. Especially if you're looking all over Twitter right now. We're not happy about this. So, but I guess that's gonna be it. So, see if there's anything else. But thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Just black screen. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna see y'all next time for the next whatever state of play or whatever other video game conference we have. Bye, everybody.